Welcome to Iceland. My name is Gylfi and I will be your brutally honest guide while we explore the village of Vopnafjörður. We got lucky with the weather this time and the main topics of the day are pretty much the same as usual except for a very special situation that has arisen around here. Situation that can affect the independence of Iceland, and I'm talking about the British billionaire Sir Jim Ratcliffe that now owns more land around the town than some consider to be appropriate. So we have plenty of ground to cover today, ground that in some cases we don't rule no more. So welcome to Vopnafjörður. I'm starting with a map since officially, as for county boundaries, Vopnafjörður belongs in East Iceland. But practically speaking, as for tourism, Vopnafjörður should belong to the Northeast District. And that has to do with transportation or the lack thereof, since between Vopnafjörður and East Iceland we have this mountain pass, so that road is only open during summer. And this nice village has also have to deal with facts like it's not by the official ring road, highway number 1. And to fight that problem with the ring road, the tourist boards in the north and the northeast, they came up with an excellent idea, the Arctic Coastway, but they left Vopnafjörður out as well, due to the county boundaries. So it is the village Bakkafjörður, that is only 30 kilometers north of Vopnafjörður, that has this undeserved honor to be the northeast end station of the Arctic Coastway. So what I am doing on my channel is to rearrange the Arctic Coastway for practical reasons for tourists and making Vopnafjörður the end station of that fine route because it is the ideal hub. So it's appropriate to say, welcome to my own Arctic Coastway. And since we have the formalities out of the way now, let's start with history. The origin of the settlement is actually a story that we have heard before in Iceland. It can be traced to troublemakers from Norway, and some of those troublemakers settled here and became a part of the Icelandic medieval saga, Vopnfirðinga saga. And the local Viking saga demonstrates how a dispute could persist over several generations during the Viking Age. And if we look at the name of the fjord and the village, Vopnafjörður, it means the fjord of weapons. But the history of Iceland is full of gaps that span centuries in many cases, and we know that foreign merchants sailed to Vopnafjörður in the early modern age, and this became one of the Danish monopoly trading posts, and Vopnafjörður would later return to the history books after the enormous volcanic eruption in Askja in 1875. Ashfall in East Iceland caused significant agricultural destruction, leading to livestock deaths and widespread crop failures, ultimately prompting a major emigration wave to North America. And Vopnafjörður became the main port for migrants, and those migrants would in most cases never return. But the story about the migration era is not just about the volcanic eruption. It had started before this natural disaster, and I'm leaving links to related videos if you want to know more about that. And the land around here, it recovered faster and better than anyone expected at first. So the population here in Vopnafjörður, it never decreased actually. The town became a hub, and although many of the residents migrated, new residents came in from other parts of East Iceland and settled because of the quality of the land around here. So this part of the east, it recovered way sooner than many of the locations further south and closer to the volcano. And this era is today a large part of the town's heritage. In terms of tourism, the East Iceland Immigration Center offers very personal services like genealogy studies, or helping the descendants of Icelanders that moved to the west to find family ties and reunite with relatives. And that kind of work is in many cases not complicated, since we have a digital database that covers all Icelanders And to be brutally honest, this might be a good tourist tip to find relatives in Iceland and get rid of the hotel cost. But many of the visitors, they come for the stories, to see the place where their ancestors left the old homeland for the last time, reflect on the past and study their own roots. So I know for a fact that many grateful guests with ties to Iceland have visited Vopnafjörður. The migration peaked between 1870 and 1914, and during that era, around 15,000 people settled in North America, and the total number of descendants of Icelanders there is estimated to be around 200,000 or even 250,000 today. And Icelanders living in Iceland are less than 400,000, so this is quite remarkable. All of those are relatives out there. And despite the setback after the Askja eruption, agriculture became once again the pillar of the community, with sheep farming as a main business. But there are other resources to be found in this nature, not as obvious. And one of them is the North Atlantic wild salmon. And salmon angling is in fact a very old industry around here. And in many cases, it's a playground for those who have plenty of money, because many of those rivers are not cheap. So we see celebrities come every year just chasing their hobby. But the British billionaire, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he took his passion all the way. And he is today one of the largest private landowners in Iceland. The rivers and the valleys around Vopnafjörður are his playground. And through direct and indirect ownership, he controls over 40 farms who have one thing in common: the right to fish in some of the best rivers. And these investments are driven by a commitment to preserve the North Atlantic salmon through initiatives like the Six River Project and Catch and Release. And while his conservation efforts have local support, the extensive land purchase have sparked debate regarding foreign ownership and its implication for local communities and national sovereignty. So this is a tricky path that we are on, selling so much land. But traditional agriculture has, however, continued on this land, as far as I know. So I'm not hearing any complaints from there, and it looks like it's just business as usual, like elsewhere in town, and life is overall just fine there. It's a town that has it all as for infrastructure. They have a preschool, primary school with 100 students. They have a bank and a health clinic, and a police department that seems to be very helpful. Iceland's largest fishing company is the largest employer in the area. They operate a high-tech freezing plant and a fish meal factory, and it is noticeable how clean the town is, even the industrial area. And this is not about a high-tech fishing industry. Shark hunting is still a business around here, although it is a limited market because it's a disgusting food. And tourism is growing, of course, but it's only one hotel in the village, and the other options are lodges and farmhouse accommodation. But they have 2 campgrounds. One of them is within the town, and it's this one. And it's very family friendly. They have plenty of playgrounds for the kids, so everything looks very healthy, clean, and nice around here. And I have to mention the well-preserved turf farm nearby. It's one of the best preserved turf houses in Iceland. And it's a museum during summer with nice hiking trails all around. And there are in fact several other attractions around the town that I would like to cover in separate videos when I find the time. And as for the grown-up playground, they have a golf course and of course the trout and salmon fishing rivers. And this area is also a popular hunting ground for reindeer and geese. So although the town keeps a low profile, it's more than meets the eye as for things to do. But first and foremost, it's a friendly village with a rich history and many beautiful places around that you can have for yourself without any tourists. And that is something that you can't find on most of the major tourist hotspots. But it's a privilege that is easy to find around here. And you will see that better soon, because I have more videos in the making from this district, and the plan is, of course, to cover every village in Iceland, but it takes time, of course. So feel free to check the other links in the video description for some of the places that I've mentioned in this video and other suggestions. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from my home country, Iceland.